What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another Aha remix from the second disc of the Time and Again compilation. And this time we're going to listen to a remix of Cosy Prisons, a wonderful tune from Analogue 2005, and apparently this Aural Float remix, which I enjoy that name. I'm assuming that's the name of the remix artist. I suppose it could just be a conceptual remix name. But this apparently comes from, and thank you again to Sophia for these notes on the remixes, a German-specific digital release of the single and was download only and in 2006, so a year after the album. But yes, I really enjoy the album tune. I think it is a fantastic track. I like its two-sided nature, meaning the first couple minutes has this relatively simple arrangement, but it has a very emotional sound, and then in the latter half it seems to kick into a more percussive drive and has a bit more distortion. And I actually went back and looked at the comments for my reaction to the original song. Side note, there were a lot of comments there, and I must have said something in the video about how some of my Aha reactions were getting retroactively blocked by YouTube, and people were saying it seems to be only happening with the singles and so on. So it was clearly the time where YouTube had suddenly caused a problem with some of my YouTube reactions to Aha. But in that regard, I should mention I've been slowly but surely putting those blocked and then eventually muted reactions, which I did so that at least my intros and outros for those videos could still be on YouTube. But I've been putting the full unmuted reactions over on my Patreon, and I'm roughly halfway through putting the 18 that eventually got blocked over there on Patreon. But yes, I did go back and look at the comments, and it was amusing to see some people say that it's one of their favorites. I noticed that there were a couple folks who said that it didn't quite hit them that strongly at first, but maybe over time they came to see it better. Either way, I consider it a really fantastic tune, and I enjoy the lyrical themes of moving outside your comfort zone. There's a risk-reward. You could feel more vulnerable or more at risk, but a cozy prison, as someone commented, is still a prison, and if you're willing to go outside your comfort zone, you might find a world that is rewarding or enriching or beyond what you have become familiar with. So I enjoy the lyrics, and I think Morton's vocals, as they are on most Aha tunes, are fantastic. I don't quite know what to expect. Aural Float maybe makes me think of a dreamier or lush and padded type of sound, so I guess we'll find out. Let's give it a listen. This is Aha Cosy Prisons, and it's the Aural Float remix, included on the Time and Again compilation, though it's originally from 2006.
So if you're careful, you won't get hurt.
Oh. Another dub-reggae remix?
Take a moment if you dare, catch yourself a breath of air. There's another life out there, and you should try it. Dead ends hard on every street. Look before you place your feet. Cracks and fissures keep the beat, and you're inside it. Every thought you never dared to think, every mood you always knew would sink, every line you spoke out loud in a jest, all the time you took to be your best, soon forgotten. Soon forgotten. The sun was never touch your skin, could expose the dark within. Paranoia, bad paranoia. Panic hits without a sign. You worry about it all the time. Every perfect moment is a hidden warning. Your transatlantic shopping sprees, your health forever guarantees. Organic bio lives a breeze in cozy prisons. Hiding out in the salad bar isn't gonna get you fun. Bottled wine is a vinegar tomorrow. Everything around it makes you pretty head spin. It's piling up high in your back when you begin. Moments you tried so hard to forget, promising to feel the best ones yet. Yeah, every time you shut your eyes in a pin, every time you trees your steps back in. None of your convictions have the same old ring. No doubt you'll find a place for everything. Cozy prison. So if you're careful, you won't get hurt. Cozy prison. Cozy prison. Cozy prison. So if you're careful, you won't get hurt. But if you're careful all the time, then what's it worth?
First of all, shout out to Mags for the lyrics on this one. It really is a well-written song, and I think a profound sentiment, which isn't necessarily saying that it never makes sense to feel safe and comfortable in what you know, but it is suggesting that if you never take a risk, if you never go outside your comfort zone, you might be missing out on something that would be worth more than the familiarity you have. So also shout out to Morton's lovely vocals, which I think sound very good in this version. And shout out to this remix. It might be my favorite remix on the compilation so far. I really think this does something special with the tune. Now there are some distinctions. First of all, I think it's just longer. I don't remember exactly how long the album track is. I want to say like maybe 3.5, 4 minutes. Yeah, this is like 5.5, even a little more. So definitely longer than the album track as I'm remembering it. I did also, as I said, check the comments, and number one, James had mentioned that he liked the way in the back half of the album version of the tune, there's this increasing sense of distortion or sonic intensity. And again, I think that works conceptually with the idea of going outside your comfort zone or being in the comfort zone so completely and constantly that there's something awry, there's something that is not being fully realized. Here, I don't think we get that same front half, back half dichotomy, but also there's a percussive drive that comes into this version earlier than I think it does in the album version. Nevertheless, I absolutely love the ambient down-tempo stylings. Indeed, it sounds almost like if you took a dub reggae tune, because there is that deep bass pulsing as well as some echoed keyboard lines, and a lot of echo and deep bass is essentially the formula for dub reggae. But there's also this galactic Sybient type of feel, and people who know my channel will know I'm very fond of Sybient. My ambient excursion mixes are in that genre by and large. And yeah, it felt like this one took a bit of a dub reggae vibe, a bit of a Sybient or downtempo ambient flavor, and combined them, which I think really works with this tune, not only just in terms of the sonic sound, but a bit conceptually as well. So yeah, I really think this one is a well configured and arranged remix. And in this case, I think it is a bit apples and oranges, where I love the album track and I love what it does and the sonic progression of the tune, but I think this is really cool too, and I can see how this does something special with an already great tune. So yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this one. I was thinking with a couple of the lines in the comments I read, Lori mentioned that she can interpret the lyrics in relation to agoraphobia and the idea of literally going outside and being in open spaces being uncomfortable for some people. And I think, again, within that particular interpretation, I think some of the lines really do work in that way, even if it might be more psychological on other interpretations. And again, in my original reaction, and people commented on this, I was thinking about it maybe on a social level, the idea that we get comfortable with the status quo, and as we get older, it gets harder to break outside of that and to still be willing to, in a youthful way, take a risk or do something new or against what you've become familiar with. So I still think there's some lines that work with that interpretation, even if I do now center it, as I think most people commented, in the psychological realm, in the idea of being willing to go outside what is familiar and cozy in your own life. Nevertheless, I think this is a great remix. Do let me know what you think, and I'll see you in a moment for another live reaction. Peace.